Street sweepers employed by the Lagos Waste Management Authority have spoken out about persistent harassment, open defecation, and the traumatic task of clearing ritual items, including dead babies, from the city's roads. Sweepers described being insulted, threatened, and treated like trash by motorists, traders, and residents who dump refuse on freshly cleaned roads. While LAWMA's managing director, Muyiwa, Gbadegesin, acknowledged the challenges and noted that health insurance has been approved for all 16,000 sweepers, the workers say public stigma and danger persists. Some reported being denied care at the hospitals while in uniform. He also warned that dumping refuse on roads is illegal and that CCTV is being deployed to monitor drivers who endanger sweepers' lives, but appeal for greater public empathy. Everybody matters. Meanwhile, the agency has disclosed plans to unlock the economic potential of its waste management value chain by revamping existing transfer loading stations and material recovery facilities to improve efficiency, boost recycling, and support a circular economy. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Lagos State Waste Management Authority, Dr. Muyiwa Gbadegesin, joins us now for a discussion about waste management in Nigeria's busiest state. Welcome to Newsday.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. And good morning, Lagos.
All right. So the claims by the street sweepers, or at least employed by the LAWMA, how would you interpret their concerns at the moment?
Well, you know, the job that they're doing is a very difficult one. They wake up as early as 6 a.m., 7 a.m. to get out on the roads and sweep from 8 to 12 every single day, including Saturdays and Sundays. And what we've noticed over the years is that many Lagosians behave in a very undisciplined manner. They speed on the roads, endangering the lives of the sweepers, and they litter indiscriminately. And there are also those who are fond of bringing their waste from their households and dumping it on the streets, even after the streets may have been swept. The 16,000 sweepers are responsible for cleaning 1,000 routes statewide. And if you ever feel that Lagos is clean, it's because of the work that they're doing. So we constantly appeal to residents to behave more responsibly when it comes to how they manage their environment. But we don't stop at that. We're also doing a lot of enforcement. We'll continue to crack down on this kind of indiscriminate dumping of waste. In addition, the state government values their work. We are rolling out health insurance for them. You notice that we were in a program during the week where that was announced. We've concluded their biometric registration, and soon they'll be able to access healthcare at our primary healthcare centers and general hospitals.
Well, why is that coming now? One would have thought at the point of being employed, they should have access to all of this,
So
incentives.
It's a state program, okay. And we're moving towards a situation where it will be mandatory for you to have health insurance. So we have the Lagos State Health Maintenance Agency, LAWMA, that's rolling that out. So it's a phased program. The goal being that we want universal health insurance coverage, not just in Lagos, but nationwide. I'm sure you're aware that the National Health Insurance Scheme is also expanding that. So it's a national program under the Renewed Hope agenda. And
all right,
so that's why
Mr. Gbadegesin, before I ask my question, I'd like to set the record straight. There are reports and political conversations suggesting you may be aspiring to contest the Oyo State governorship come 2027. I'd like you to clarify that for us to know where you stand, if it is actually factual.
Well, I haven't made any public announcements about that. Definitely, I am a politician, and I won't be here if myself and many party members were not in the trenches campaigning and engaging stakeholders about issues. And so when people see me going around, it's part of my job. Even in Lagos here, I move around. 80% of the job is political. So when you talk about engaging market people, engaging the CDAs and CDCs, engaging even the sweepers themselves.
Yeah,
and the companies that manage them.
I have to clarify that because, 2026 is an electioneering year. You don't think that might divide your attention?
No,
Lagos is a
absolutely.
big
So
state.
let me tell you something. If and when I am going to go fully into politics, I will make that announcement and I'll step away from the job. For now, my attention is 100% on the job that I'm doing at Lagos Waste Management Authority. But if I do that, you will not be in doubt. You won't be asking that question.
Because you just mentioned you've been consulting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's part of the process. The consultation is a 10-minute discussion, 15-minute discussion here and there.
All right. I'd like us to go back to the issue of, enforcement. Your thoughts about using technology, CCTV, and all that. How is that feasible right now? What's in the pipeline for that?
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in technology. And the Lagos State government in particular has always been at the forefront in deploying technology solutions to governance. What we're doing specifically is we're plugging into the command and control center that has been established by Lagos State government. We're not reinventing the wheel. Okay. So we're going to place our officers in there so they can see what's going on the road. So that's more cost efficient than flooding the roads with personnel. Even though we're doing that now, we have teams that go around with hidden cameras, recording offenders. Last year, we apprehended about 1,000, and about 447 of them were prosecuted. Some in jail, some doing environmental community service as part of their
offense. What about mobile offenders? Because it is disheartening when you see people just put out their hands in their vehicles and you just throw bottles and what have you, waste out there. How do you intend to apprehend such?
So part of that solution is we're test running dash cams.
Okay.
And one thing that we want to introduce this year is to involve the public in this, so that if you're able to capture someone littering and you can get their license plate, we'll be able to trace them to their registration and their address. We had 3 incidents last year of people littering, and we were able to trace them. And of course, you would have seen the man who took a vehicle to go and dump trash at Alapere and ended up spending 3 months in jail. So we want to engage the public and maybe even introduce a reward for that, for apprehending offenders.
LAWMA recently announced plans to revamp transfer loading stations and also material recovery facilities. What gaps are these upgrades meant to address? So
in the waste management system, you have collection, transport, treatment, and then disposal. You'll find out that the dump sites, which we have right now, right in the middle of the city, it is an archaic means of disposing waste that we want to do away with. With the transfer loading station, it will reduce the turnaround time of the compactor trucks so that they can clear the waste from your house faster, take it to the transfer loading station. Then from the transfer loading station, we'll now ship to material recovery facilities outside of the heavily populated areas, where we can then properly sort and treat the waste. That's a more modern system. And we're also working on a waste-to-energy plant. I know a lot of Lagosians I've heard about that. It's something that's coming, where we'll be able to incinerate the waste and use that to generate electricity. We've signed an MOU with a Dutch firm for that. We're going to build one in Ekpe. And so we're trying to modernize the waste management infrastructure, because that's what's going to give us better outcomes when it comes to managing waste, leading to a cleaner environment and better health. Because the reason we're doing all of this is not just for the aesthetic purpose of, you want to drive around and everywhere looks clean. It has a direct impact on our health. And that's why we're so particular about this, and we won't rest until we get it right.
Very good. So Nigeria currently produces a large volume of solid waste, out of which less than 20% is collected through a formal system, as it were. What is the scenario with Lagos currently? Because sometimes, yes, we have LAWMA there, but there are also private sector partnership here and there, and then the average cart pushers who, they're not really registered, and they just dump it. So what's the scenario like? Is there some kind of synergy to get all of this moving at one direction, not like the cart pushers who do theirs and one way, and LAWMA is trying to clean up and the other? And what's the scenario like at the moment?
In Lagos, we have a well-established waste management system that's built around private sector participation. So the PSP operators are the waste collection companies.
Yes.
And we have about 450 of them, roughly mapped to the 377 wards in Lagos. And each of these companies are the ones who own the trucks that you see collecting waste from your household and your commercial facilities. Now, that system is under pressure because of the high cost of operating the trucks, because of non-compliance by residents. Some of them don't patronize the PSP operators. Some don't pay their bills on time. Indeed. So we're reviewing that system. We want to introduce a centralized waste collection fee for every household in Lagos that will support upgrading the waste collection trucks, and that will also support the transfer loading station rollout and the material recovery facilities. We're doing that. We have a 10-year plan to roll that out. Now, with respect to the cart pushers,
yes,
we are introducing tricycle compactors,
okay,
especially for areas where the trucks have difficulty accessing or where people prefer to pay as you go. We've already done a very successful test pilot in Ibejuleki local government, and we're going to introduce about 500 tricycle compactors and use some of these cart pushers and formalize them so that we can monitor them more effectively. But let me stress that it is illegal to patronize cart pushers. That's the position of the law.
How is that being enforced?
But where do you have this in our voice?
In the last quarter of last year, we seized about 1,500 carts, which we've destroyed. But like I said, this is because so many areas don't have good coverage. In some areas, the truck can't even enter your neighborhood. So that's why we're trying to introduce the tricycle compactors as an alternative. And interestingly, in Ibejuleki, the reason we introduced there, in partnership with the chairman of the local government, because he came to us and requested that, is that a lot of the roads are not motorable. But guess what? Once they introduced the tricycle compactors, and it was an investor from abroad who brought this idea, people are paying 2,000 naira per bin bag when they need it. And it's successful. So why not roll that to the rest of the state? It's cheaper as well than the compactor trucks. A compactor truck is about 200 million naira. A tricycle compactor is about 7 million naira.
Mr. Gbadegesin, some Lagosians complain that they don't get to see these LAWMA officials for about as long as 3 weeks. And then eventually they come with bills saying you have to pay this amount for a service that has not been rendered. How do you address that issue? And also, are you encouraging private sector partnership, especially for those who engage in recycling of waste to wealth?
Oh, absolutely. We have hundreds and hundreds of recycling companies, which we license. And, our recycling rate is still low. It's 10%. So there's still a big opportunity for those who want to come into the business. You can reach out. Those who are listening can reach out to us. I guess, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the number, but the phone number. But the other question you asked about the complaints, we have complaint channels. If you have any disputes or complaints about your service, you can reach out to us on a free phone call, 070 80 60 10 20.
You can say that again.
That's 070 80 60 10 20.
All right.
All right. Okay. Finally, so how can Lagos take the lead in sorting and recycling, you think? Briefly.
Well, we are looking at a situation where sorting should be mandatory, meaning from your house or from your office, sort your waste. We understand that that's difficult. So what we're doing is introducing incentives. So many of the recycling companies that I mentioned that we license to go out and collect recyclables, they do offer incentives to the households. We want to formalize that once we start the centralized billing and collection so that when you recycle, we can weigh what you're recycling and give you incentive. Interestingly, we started in Lagos Island last year. Every Thursday, we go out into the community with megaphone and we collect recyclables from the residents, paper, plastic, metals, and we give them cash direct on the spot. And it's been very successful. We're expanding that to areas like Oshodi, Mushin, Agege, Yanokwaja this quarter. What we've discovered is that people are ready to recycle, but they want something, which is understandable. Let me tell you something though. There's so much opportunity in this. In that recyclable, 90% of our waste is recyclable. It translates to about $2.5 billion of income, of value every year. So as a society, it's incumbent on us to find a way to unlock that value rather than burying it every day in the landfill. You're talking about 13,000 tons of waste every day.
And they're non-biodegradable.
And they're non-biodegradable, yes. Some is biodegradable, which, of course, the organic waste is 50%.
But it still takes a long time.
It takes a long time. So we need to do more. And in doing that, we are inviting the private sector to engage with LAWMA and the state government so that we can unlock the value together.
All right, we would like to thank you, Dr. Muyiwa Gbadegesin, MD CEO, LAWMA. Thank you for all you're doing, and we hope that the state of waste and refuse dump in Lagos gets better.
Thanks for having me. Working together, I'm sure we can achieve that.
Hopefully.